Start a new spreadsheet. And we're going to come over here, and we should know that this is a column and this is a row. This is a cell. If we want to put something into a cell, we can let's try just putting a number in a cell. We'll press 1, and I'm going to put a number in this cell as well. Now, if I select both of these cells together, and I find this yellow dot here, I start to drag it down, and I notice that it's starting to recognize that there was a pattern or a trend. So I'd like to try over here, instead of a 1, 2, I'm going to put a 1 and then a 3. I'm going to select both of these cells. I'll come over and I'm going to find that yellow dot, and I'm going to drag it down, and I should see it goes 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Let's try it the other direction. Let's try a 2 and then a 1. Select both of these cells. I'm going to come over and I'm going to drag this down, and I'm going to see that it goes 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. What happens? Let's try some skip counting. Let's try a 10 and then a 20. What do you think is going to happen if I select both of these cells, come over here, and I'm going to drag this down, and we get what you think. Now let's have some fun over here. I'm going to try, instead of a number, I'm going to try something like Monday, and then I'm going to just start to select and drag this down. Let's see, whoopsie, try that again. Come over here, and then I drag it down, and sure enough, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now I wonder, what do you think might happen if I type in January? Okay, come over here. Oop. I want January. And I'm going to drag this down. February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and it'll come back to January again. So you can see that this is ways that we can use patterns. Now, you might find that you've run out of columns, and I can come up here to the equals and just add more columns. I can also come down here to the equals and add more rows. Now, let's look at some other things in here. So for example, we're on sheet 1, but we might have another sheet. I can go new sheet, and I can come back over to this original sheet that we had. If I want to do some formatting in here, so for example, I want to change this one so that it's a different font, I come up here to the paintbrush or the format painter, and then I can change the table and the cell. I can change and make that bold. I can make it bigger. I can go italics. I can change the text color. Have our colors. Let's see, try that red. And even put underlines or strike throughs or whatever. I can make it centered. I can make it left justified, right justified. And if I was to come over here, I can drag this down. Let's see. And then you could notice that I could change whether it's going to be in the center, and then this is whether it's at the top, in the middle, at the bottom. If I have a lot of text in a cell, so for example, I'm going to say this is some text, and then I drag this column width over, so I'm going to drag this over. This is now wrapping in here. So that's doing that because it says wrap text in cell, but if I uncheck that, you see it's not wrapping anymore, it's not going over. So I'll uncheck that. I could also come over, and I'm going to come like this, and I'll select, and I can come to the cell borders and give it borders all around. I can change the border style, the line type, and the width. So I'd like you to try all of those things. Now that we have a lot of these numbers, I'm going to try, for example, I'm going to press the equals sign, and that shows us down here that we're about to start a formula. And if I just select all of these cells, the natural formula that it wants to do is it wants to sum. And if you know what sum is, that means I'm going to add all of these. When I've selected the cells that I'm going to sum, I can come over here and I can press the check mark, and then it should sum those up or add up 13 plus 11 plus 9 plus 7, 5, 3, and 1. Now, I might come over here. I'm going to start a different type of formula. This one I'm going to press equals, but I want to do an average formula. So an average, if I come over and I say click on the average, and I choose the cells that I'm going to average. Okay, so it's going to take all of these numbers, it's going to add them together, and then it's going to divide them by the number of numbers that there are. So I do that, and I press equals, and so that is what it's done. Now another formula that I could try is this. I'm going to go equals. I'm going to type in min. So it's going to give me the minimum number or the lowest number of these cells. So I'm going to select the min, and I'm going to select these values. You should be able to see really simply and easily here that the lowest number should be a 10. So when I select those and I press the check mark, then sure enough, a 10 shows up. I might try, I'm going to just delete that. And you can see that when I select that cell, it's showing me that it's not a number, but it's actually a formula in here. Same with when I press this, that's average. And then these are not just numbers, these are actually formulas that are in here. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to select and delete that formula and press the check mark. Should wipe that out. But if I come in here, instead of this time I'm going to press equals, and instead of minimum, I'm going to type MAX, and it's going to ask for the maximum. I say max, and we should find, if I select these again, should be a 70 when I come over here and press the check mark. And sure enough, there it is. A lot of the information, I've deleted the formulas and I've deleted all that other skip counting. I'm just going to come in here and replace this. Maybe I'm going to start some other skip counting. 3 and 7. Let's see what happens here. I'll select these two cells and come over and just drag that down. Give myself some new fun numbers to work with. And maybe I'm going to also then select this way and see if we can drag that way. And what happens if I select all of these and then come here and I can drag more cells to the right all at once. I don't have to just select by one row at a time. Now I'm going to come up here, I'm going to type Monday, and I'm going to drag that across, and so we can get Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe one more day, and we'll just get, actually let's drag from here to here and come over here and get that one extra Sunday. Now I'm going to come up, I'm going to select all of my columns. So I'm going to select all of these at the same time. I'm going to double click in between, and it constrains to the column width of whatever is in there. I'm going to call this, instead of table 1, I'm going to call it days of the week. And over here, we're going to just give this, I don't know, some random things. We're going to assign that these are names. So this is going to be Tom. This is going to be Sally. This is Eric. This is going to be Save. This is going to be Mickey. This is going to be Minnie. And this is going to be Mo. And now what I want to do is I want to create a graph. So I'm going to select all of this. Everything we've got here. I'm going to come up here to this little graph looking button here. It's a pie chart, and I'm going to choose and see what this will create when I choose one of these. So let's see, select that. Sure enough, we've got a really beautiful looking bar chart. Back up here, select this again right here, and come over, and this time I'm going to go like that. So you see the same type of information, but instead of going vertically, it's going horizontally instead. I'm going to delete that because we're just going to look at one. I'm going to delete the rows, table. Maybe I only want, so I want to remove some of these rows. So I'm going to have this selected. I'm going to come over to my table, and I want to I only really need 8 rows. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to give myself 9 rows just to have one extra row. Press enter, and then when I drag up, I can see this table and this graph a little bit easier. But what is interesting about the graph is it's relational. And what I mean by that is when I change a number here, you're going to see some things change down here. So for example, I'm going to come up to cell B2, and right now there's a 1 in there. But if I change that 1 to a 10 and I press enter, watch what happens down in here. If I come over here, I'm going to change this Tuesday under Sally, and I'm going to change that to a 35. Okay, you see how things are relational and they're changing based upon what new numbers I have in there. So I'll have some fun with that. And 31, maybe we're gonna make this one way bigger. Maybe that's gonna be 110 instead. Oop. Okay, so you see what's going on.